Hey, Blazer Tales. Oh, I got such a good one for you today. I'm going to be doing a first chapter Friday reading of The Wild Robot Protects, one of my favorite book series ever. This is book three. This is not a book talk or anything, so I'm not going to have that on. I'm not going to do the book talk. It's linked below if you want to go see it. But this is just going to be the first chapter Friday reading. Normally, when I do this, I put up a picture of just the book and the author. But today, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint that I make to go with it. So as I'm reading, you can see what it would look like if you were reading to your classroom, and it's going to have the pictures that are in the book. So this way, like if you're reading to the kids, and you have it on a big interactive whiteboard, they can see the pictures, and you don't have to hold the book up and walk around the room and hold it and show it and everything. So this is really cool, and they have something to look at to help focus them a little bit when you're reading instead of them just staring off into space. So let me share my screen. Okay, now this is the PowerPoint. If you see, it's got all this, it's got how to use the PowerPoint. There's the cover. Like this is what you would start off with. So we'll just start off right here and do slideshow. I'll just play from start. So what you would do is you would start off with the kids doing this before you start reading. There's a book trailer you can show them. There's the table of contents. So you'd start off right here. And it's The Wild Robot Protects. And this is chapter one. This is called The Sky. And in my PowerPoint, if you see, I have a sentence underlined and I have an asterisk. That's when it lets you know to advance the slide so the kids can see the pictures. So right off the bat, we have a picture. Let me start off right here. Our story begins in the sky with a bright sun and puffy clouds and a large flock of geese. After spending the cold months at their southern wintering grounds, the geese were migrating back to their northern home. They flew in a perfect V formation, and leading the way was a graceful young goose. The leader kept his eyes forward, constantly searching for bad weather or airships, but the sky was clear of any trouble. Towns and roads and meadows and rivers passed beneath the geese as they flew. Far ahead, where the land met the sky, the dark blue line of the ocean gradually came into view. The ocean grew closer and closer, and then the flock was soaring above a sandy beach and out over the water. An island appeared in the distance. Another island appeared, and another. The geese spent a few days hopping from island to island, munching on dune grass and resting their wings. Then they took off for the last leg of their journey. Cargo ships were powering through the waves below. This part of the ocean was a shipping lane. It was crawling with huge vessels, each making its own migration to the next seaport. The geese flew high over the ships, and soon all they could see was water spreading to the horizon in every direction. Hours passed before the geese spotted the familiar rocky shapes of their home island. They quickened their pace. Now they could see the mountains in the forest and the white splash of waterfall. Now they were flying over the coastline. Now they were circling above the beaver pond. The flocks glided down to the pond and splashed onto the surface. They floated there, quietly cleaning their feathers until, below the water, their webbed feet started paddling and they swam to shore and waddled onto a pebble beach. While the others made themselves at home, the leader wandered into the forest by himself. He followed a path through the undergrowth, passing old trees and mossy stones and thick brambles, and he stopped in a small clearing. The goose honked loudly and listened for a response. Silence. And then the forest began to move. A cluster of ferns shook and the ground bulged up and chunks of dirt tumbled aside. And there, standing in front of the goose, was a robot. Reader, you and I would have been terrified in that moment. It's not every day you see a robot burst up from the ground. But the goose wasn't terrified. He was happy. You see, that robot was his mother. He fluttered onto her shoulder. Then the two of them spoke to each other in the language of the animals. I've missed you, Ma, said Bright Bill the goose. Welcome home, son, said Roz, the wild robot. Oh my gosh, I can't stop there. Let's read one more. One more. Let me skip through the questions. This is the questions you would show the kids. So this is the reunion, chapter 2. Roz and Brightville, mother and son, were eager to catch up, and they immediately started talking about all that had happened over the winter. But their conversation was interrupted by the sound of little claws scampering through the treetops. A tiny voice was muttering, Brightbill's back! Brightbill's back! Brightbill's back! Then a squirrel came bounding out to the tip of the branch. Hello, Chit Chat, said Bright Bill to the squirrel. How have you been? But Chit Chat had come a long way and she was out of breath. Wind rushed from her mouth and she held up her paw as if to say, Hang on a minute. When she was ready, the squirrel unleashed the following flurry of words. Bright Bill, I'm so glad you're home. I always worry about you when you're gone, which is silly because I know you're clever and tough, and I'm so also clever and tough, and I also hope you know you don't worry about me. And oh right, you ask how I've been. Well, I've been some very exciting news, which is that I'm now a mother. Can you believe it? I have three young kids, and I can't wait for you to meet them. Chit Chat jabbered on and on and on, and the squirrel's jabbering voice caught the attention of a nearby creature. Finks the fox crept out from the bushes. Mr. and Miss Beaver climbed up from the pond. Swooper the owl flew down onto a log. More and more animals emerged from the forest, smiling and laughing, eager to reunite with their old friend Brightbill. And then a screechy voice called out from afar. The voice was repeating something over and over, but nobody could make out the words. Roz and the animals hurried to the edge of the forest just as the seagull named Gale appeared in the sky. She was frantically squawking and flapping toward them. Gulls were rarely seen so far inland. Something had to be wrong, and as Gale flew nearer, her words became clearer. Help! 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 Oh my gosh, this book is so good. Love, love, love. Let me stop sharing real quick. So, do not miss The Wild Robot Protects. This book is absolutely amazing. I have my blog link below so you can read all of my book review. You can watch my videos and all the things are in there. So, don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.